Okay, let's dig into this one. We're tackling a word today that, well, honestly, it's a bit tricky just to say it.
Mm-hmm.
The pronunciation alone, it can make you stop and think if you've ever tried to look it up. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. There are like whole videos and guides out there just trying to help people wrap their tongues around this particular word.
Right. And the word is Sesquipedalian.
Sesquipedalian, yeah. It's a long word, and here's the really interesting bit. It's actually about long words.
It's perfectly meta. So our plan for this deep dive, then, is to really unpack Sesquipedalian. We want to pull out the main definitions, trace back its really quite surprising history.
Yeah, the origins are fascinating.
Look at how it gets used and, see what key ideas come out of the sources you've gathered.
Yeah, and it really does have quite a journey. It goes all the way back to ancient languages through literary criticism, and it's picked up these different layers of meaning. It's quite rich.
Okay, so maybe before we jump into the history, which sounds great, let's just try and nail down what it means today. What do the dictionaries like Merriam-Webster or Wiktionary actually tell us?
Well, they basically give us a couple of main definitions. The first one is as an adjective, and it describes a word itself. It means, having many syllables, or you could just say long, basically, when you're talking about words. So you might hear someone talk about sesquipedalian terms.
Right, so the word describes words. Got it. But it's also used for people, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah. That's the second adjective meaning. It describes someone who uses long words.
Oh.
So given to or characterized by the use of long words, you could maybe describe a sesquipedalian television commentator, for example.
Okay, got it. So it could be about the word itself or the person using those kinds of words, and it could be a noun, too.
Yep, it functions as a noun as well.
Yeah.
And as a noun, it can mean a long word. The sources give examples like Johnsonian sesquipedalians, which refers to the sort of long Latinate words that Samuel Johnson was known for using.
And the other noun meaning a person.
Yeah, it can also mean a person who uses long words. Like in your example, if you told someone, hey, don't be such a sesquipedalian.
Right, you'd be calling them out for using overly long words.
Exactly. And just quickly, for synonyms, for the word itself, polysyllabic is pretty close.
Okay, now this is the part that I found really, really cool when looking through the sources. The etymology. Where this word actually came from. It's not what I expected at all.
No, it's quite something. It goes way back all the way to Latin. The root word is sesquipedalis.
Sesquipedalis, okay.
And the surprising thing is what it literally means in Latin. It means 1.5 feet long.
Wait, really? 1.5 feet? For a word? That's wonderfully literal, isn't it? For something we just call a long word.
It really is. And if you break down that Latin word based on the etymology sources, sesqui is a Latin prefix. It means 1.5 times.
Ah, okay.
We actually still see it occasionally in English.
Oh, so it started as this clever, ironic little jab in ancient Rome. How on earth did it turn into a serious term in English?
Well, the sources seem to agree the big shift happened in the 17th century. English literary critics, you see, they were looking for terms to critique writers they thought were too wordy. And they basically borrowed Horace's term, sesquipedalian. But crucially, they dropped the irony. They didn't keep that light touch. Merriam-Webster actually says they weaponized it.
Weaponized it? That sounds intense. How?
Well, instead of a gentle tease, they started using sesquipedalian as a direct, often pretty harsh criticism. They'd use it to sort of lambast writers for using those unnecessarily long, often Latin-derived words, the very kind Horace was originally joking about.
So they took his witty remark and turned it into a serious accusation like, your writing style is bad because it's sesquipedalian.
Interestingly, the noun form, meaning just a thing or person that's literally 1.5 feet long, actually appears first in the 1610s.
Before it was even about words.
Yeah, apparently so. Then the adjective form pops up in the 1650s, and the specific meaning we use most today describing words as long or having many syllables, that's recorded from 1656.
Okay.
And then the noun meaning a long word, like Johnsonian sesquipedalians, that comes even later, apparently around 1830.
So it really migrated, didn't it? From a physical measurement to a general description, then to describing language style, and finally to naming the long words themselves.
Exactly. That's the journey.
That is really cool. And clearly since then, writers have kind of run with it, used it in different ways.
Oh, for sure.
Okay, so let's shift gears slightly and talk about perception. Because using these long words, these sesquipedalian words, It comes with some baggage, doesn't it? The sources definitely touch on this.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's a really interesting nuance. On one side, that worldwide interpreting source suggests that using longer, more complex words can sometimes give an impression of intellectual prestige.
Right, like it signals you have specialized knowledge.
Exactly. It can show precision, especially within a specific field.
So it's less about the word itself, maybe, and more about the speaker's perceived intention and the actual effect it has on the audience.
That seems to be the crux of it, based on how the sources discuss it. It's very much about perception. Are you choosing the precise tool for the job, even if it's a long one? Or are you just picking the shiniest, fanciest sounding one?
It's a fine line, isn't it? Very subjective.
Definitely. What one person sees as accurate and necessary, another might just hear as deliberately confusing or showing off.
Yeah, the pretentious label seems to stick when the language feels like it's designed to exclude people or just impress them rather than actually communicate effectively.
That sums it up pretty well, I think.
Okay. So, wow, bringing this all together, we've taken this wonderfully long word, Sesquipedalian, and really followed its pretty amazing journey.
Yeah, starting way back with Horace in ancient Rome, using it, ironically, this lighthearted comment about words being 1.5 feet long.
And then seeing it get picked up and weaponized, as Merriam-Webster put it, by English critics in the 17th century to slam writers for being too wordy.
Right. And then landing where it is now in modern English with these dual meanings describing the long words and the people who use them, plus all the connections to its Latin roots, those related terms, even that crazy phobia name. So the big takeaway, perhaps for you, the listener, is why does digging into one word like this even matter?
Well, I think understanding this history, seeing how meanings evolve and get used, sometimes ironically, sometimes critically, sometimes just playfully, it gives you a little insight, doesn't it? A window into how language works, how messy and fascinating it is.
Yeah, and maybe it makes you a bit more aware of word choice, too, both in your own communication and when you encounter complex language from others.
Right. Like if you hear something called Sesquipedalian, you can pause and think, okay, what's going on here? Is this word adding necessary precision? Or is it maybe doing something else, obscuring things, showing off?
It just adds another layer to how you interpret language. It's one small piece, but a revealing piece of the whole English vocabulary puzzle.
It really is.
And it leaves us with a final thought, maybe.
Yeah. Go on.
Given this whole journey from irony to criticism to modern usage, when someone calls a piece of writing or even a person sesquipedalian, does that label tell us more about the thing being described? Or does it perhaps tell us just as much, maybe even more, about the person doing the describing, about their own perspective on language and style?
That's a good question. Something to definitely chew on until our next deep dive.